any better for the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason. They locked down their future in Patty Mahomes.
You got Jones, then Kelsey, and Mahomes signed for like $500 million. You got players on your football team buying baseball team.
I'm surrounded by baby toys. Like Patrick Mahomes is surrounded by guys who on offense are some of the best in the league.
Oh no, let the defense go. Let the defense go.
If Patty does what he does, and he has one last guy on offense.
And Kansas City,
Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to, well, good afternoon, depending on where you're at here in this wonderful United States of America. If you guys are international, good, whatever it is to you, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day it is. Welcome to the SportsMe Weekly Windup, where we go over here, both myself, Rum Boys, Robbie, and Derek, representing good old boys, go over the latest and greatest things happening within a company that we work for, SportsMe. You can download the SportsMe app. Link is in the description section of this here video. Just hit the drop down, go to the description section where it says SportsMe, click it, and then download the app and get in on all of this great action, from getting fantasy football, well, any type of fantasy advice, really, from DFS, NBA, NFL, UFC, you name it. We got advice going on over there. You can meet some of your favorite analysts and athletes, interview them and ask them questions over there. You can also get in on some of these hot sports debates going down over there on the SportsMe app. Derek, how are you feeling this morning, brother?
You know, I can't complain. It's a wonderful Wednesday here, and the sun came up. We've got a good day going. We're getting to talk some SportsMe. We're getting to talk the Wednesday windup, kind of recapping some of these things going on the app, and some of these things that have been happening out there, and some really great debates going on there. Some really great conversations and topics, things like that, going on the app all week. We've got some of the stuff kind of going where we've seen some new faces starting to come onto the app this past week, with some of the folks from BetQL making some appearances over there. And we may or may not have some things to show you here in a little bit around some of those things, but it's definitely been some lively conversations going on. The app's kind of popping off, here and there, and really showcasing lots of really good things about what the SportsMe is able to do and capable of doing there. And it's just been a lot of fun over there. So again, Robbie's already told you once that the link's in the description and told you to download it. And if you haven't done so already, you're missing out. Don't wait. Get over there, get it done. And I know that some of y'all, just from doing this show, want to debate Robbie on some of his takes. You want to debate me on some of my takes. You want to debate some of the takes that we show you here. And you can absolutely do that. Download the app, hop in there and join us.
Hell yeah. Also, don't be afraid to subscribe to our YouTube channel for, little quick hit updates of what's going on through the SportsMe app and the SportsMe community. And also spike the like on this video so that more people can learn about the SportsMe app and the SportsMe community. Let's go ahead and get into our very first conversation. This one, you already hinted towards it. We are going to be hitting you guys off with a little bit different today. We have a BetQL takeover. Shout out to our partners over at BetQL. Be sure to give them a follow on Twitter. Let's check in with Chelsea as she breaks down Coach of the Year.
Hey guys, it's Chelsea Messenger from the Daily Tip. It is time to finally put some respect on the Tennessee Titans. It's time to lock in your bet for Mike Vrabel as Coach of the Year for plus 450 over at BetMGM. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I'm actually going to go with Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick. He's always looming.
I'd rather take longer odds on guys like Brandon Staley of the Chargers. Or maybe Cliff Kingsbury even.
I could definitely see him winning Coach of the Year.
They lost to the Jets with Derrick Henry.
Like you said, put some respect on Coach.
They did lose to the Jets, and so that's kind of embarrassing.
And don't forget Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys, because he's turning a pretty average roster into a superstar team.
If the Bills take the top seed in the AFC, Sean McDermott is going to be Coach of the Year, and he is currently at plus 1,600. Fantastic odds.
I like what everyone kind of said there, but we gotta take into account loss of the goddamn Jets. Okay, quoting a Adam Sandler movie there, Adam Sandler reference from Big Daddy. You can't go out there and lose to the Jets. A team that hasn't been relevant since Broadway Joe. and then simultaneously get coach of the year. I guess winning in the face of adversity after losing Derrick Henry, that kind of clears up losing to the Jets in a way. But I mean, that's just such an ugly stain. Sean McDermott has been making a case for this award for years. Bill Belichick is always going to be able to make a case for this. And what Bill Belichick is doing with Mac Jones is completely phenomenal. Mike McCarthy is just Mike McCarthy. That team was going to be good with or without McCarthy. So
we knew their offense was going to be good. Their defense was something we didn't think was going to be there, but that defense has come a long way. So, Dan Quinn's got those guys playing really well. So there could be some cases there because that defense is overperforming what we had expected. Tennessee, that defensive secondary is still not great. And we just haven't seen teams necessarily exploit them to beat them there, except for, teams like the Jets. And that's one of those that if you're able to have as big of a letdown game against a team like the Jets, I don't know that that's able to keep you in the running for it myself, but that's just my take.
Now, I'll say this. I'm one of the biggest Vrabel truthers that there is. I've said this many times on the Run Boys Fantasy Network over on my YouTube channel, and he's one of the most hands-on coaches when he's going through practice and he's walking through practice with his players. And that can't be replicated. You can't, and his players will go out there and put it all on the line for him. You can't replicate that. I think if this team could go far in the playoffs, it's undeniable. Once again, I mean, winning in even while losing Derrick Henry, who's just a complete game changer, could take a game into his own hands. Not having him on the field and still winning. I mean, I think that has to constitute for something. I mean, but Cliff Kingsbury down in Zona, like the way that he's turned that team around, the way that Zach Taylor has turned around Cincinnati, the way that Bradley's turned around the Chargers. I think turning a team around from what it was gives you a bigger, badder case than like Tennessee has always kind of inconsistent. They lately the last couple of years they've been consistent. The Bills have gotten it together over the last 2-3 years. They've been pretty consistent. They've been on the up and up. So I think that makes it harder for guys like Vrabel, McDermott, McCarthy. He coached great with the Packers and took some time off. Came back. Cowboys, they stunk last year. He turned that around. I can see where maybe he gets a case made for him.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. And for me, it's one of those that the coach of the year typically tends to fall to a guy that his team missed the playoffs the year before, something like that. So, Cliff Kingsbury, and not only that, we knew that the AFC South was going to be a race between the Colts and the Titans. And a lot of folks faded the Colts early because they had the hardest schedule going into the season. And we knew that was going to be a gauntlet for them to try and get through. Now that they've weathered that and they're coming out on the other side, we'll see how that really kind of comes to play there. But you look at you mentioned it, Cliff Kingsbury. I know Bo mentioned Cliff Kingsbury there as well. Arizona had missed the playoffs last year. They are in the driver's seat for that division right now. And when you really look at that as well, there was a lot of folks thinking that there was a good chance that NFC West, all four of those teams could have been a playoff team coming into this season. Things happen with Seattle and the Giants or the Niners that necessarily haven't played out that way, but there's a good chance that they're playing in the toughest division in the league right now.
Okay. I like that. It's a unique topic. Some good odds. I won't be shocked if Vrabel gets it, but at the same time, I think that there's a lot of options to still look at, and there's still enough football to where anything can happen. But I like the outlook for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they can do with AJ Brown getting bracketed coverage pretty much the rest of the year.
And he was still leading last week, bro. He was still eating last week. Like, that was so incredible what AJ Brown did last week. Just gosh, I just want more of it. Let's get into, we're just about at the halfway point of the season, like I just mentioned. Let's get into NFL MVPs at the halfway point. Let's go.
Who is your NFL MVP frontrunner halfway through the season? Hit us up. Let us know. Who do you got winning the NFL MVP for the 2021 season?
Super Davis, yeah, that's just an easy one. Tom Brady. He leads the, even after a bye week, he leads the league in passing yards and touchdowns, 44 years old.
I mean, it's Lamar fucking Jackson. Come on. I mean, this guy's throwing at a clip that Josh Allen was throwing at last year.
My front runner is Matthew Stafford. You're going to say, but he did not play well on Sunday night against the Titans. And you guys are right, he didn't. So this is for the first half of the season, and Matthew Stafford has been brilliant.
Give all of my points to Smokey because he is exactly correct as Lamar Jackson.
This one's pretty easy for me. I mean, I got to go with Justin Tucker. I mean, no one is better at their position than Justin Tucker is at his.
My MVP choice would be Aaron Rodgers. You know, I understand if he didn't have a good week, or maybe had a great week, because he missed the first time in a long time. And Jordan Love lost the game 13-7.
My MVP choice is Kyler Murray. He's the quarterback on the best team in the NFL record-wise, had them as the last undefeated team in the NFL, and it's almost solely due to his progression as a quarterback.
So I am 100% on board with Smokey and Joey right here, and it's Lamar Jackson. It's not even close at this point. What he's able to do, willing his team to victory.
I think Derrick Henry would have been my clear favorite before this injury, and now he's aging like fine wine, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Brady for me.
Gotta be Lamar Jackson, brother. Doing it all on both sides of the ball. I know he had a rough week this week, but I feel like everyone in the NFL is bound to have at least one bad week.
First, let me eliminate people. Aaron Rodgers will have the best numbers. It won't be him because of the COVID vaccine thing. Lamar Jackson got almost as many turnovers as he's got touchdowns. You guys say he got double-digit comebacks? It's because he's played so bad in the beginning of the games with turnovers to put his team behind, okay? He got 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 5 fumbles, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So that's what, 14, 15 touchdowns total and 12 turnovers? Ain't very good. Tom Brady, by far and above. It's got to be Tom Brady.
All righty, make sure that you guys download the sports. We have to get in on debates such as what you just saw. What you got for MVP, bro? I know how I feel about this.
And for me, it's Tom Brady again. Yeah, we'll see him kind of come through the back half here and keep doing that. A couple of letdown games over the last couple of weeks here, but I think that they'll get that corrected, and you'll see him, just shooting fire down the back half here as well. So Kyler makes a strong case for it because what we've seen with him out and where he was before he got banged up there. So him coming back could also strong contention. But at the halfway point, you're looking at it, it was Tom Brady for me.
I gotta look. He's Lamar-velous. For me, it's just Lamar all the way. The way that he can will that team to success. I get that the Thursday night loss against the Dolphins. Come on, they were fatigued, short week. You're playing your ass off all season. I think you can. Someone had mentioned, at least every team is going to have a slip up, and we kind of touched on that. With the Jets and okay, well, maybe you bounce back, because of you look at some things that you've done, since lost Derrick Henry, yada yada. I'm going to kind of use that same argument here, with Brady, he always struggles against the NFC East. That's always been a thing. That'll never not be a thing. So I don't look too much into his loss recently up against the Washington football team. You had a decimated receiving core as well, so that also contributed to it. You're out there playing with freaking 2s and 3s, throwing the ball to 2s and 3s. But I gotta go with Lamar Jackson. I mean, just like someone mentioned, the way that he can will his team to win, the way he can take a game into his own hands. If it wasn't for the Derrick Henry injury, I'd be going with Derrick Henry because he could take the game into his own hands and win it. Brady's just done it so consistently and at such a high level for so long. It almost at this point does not fucking impress me. The only thing that's impressive about it is that he's doing it at the age of which he's doing it. That's it.
Fair enough. I just see him probably finishing the season at about middle of 40s, 44, 45 total touchdowns over the course of the season, less than 10 interceptions. Those are absolutely the type of numbers that'll put you into an MVP conversation, MVP race. Very similar to what Aaron Rodgers did last year to win the MVP, right? And Josh Allen was throwing at a good clip there, had the rushing, had those types of things there. And Aaron Rodgers still beat that out on that one. So there's a lot to be said there. Lamar Jackson on that one, though, there's a lot of games, though, that you see that the Ravens end up having to come back in the fourth quarter, right? That was one of the things that you
and
saw
that's
a lot
Lamar
of people,
thing.
Right. But at the same time, if Lamar was playing that way the entire game and playing at that same type of clip, the Ravens would be double digits up going into the fourth quarter, not playing in a tight race or being slightly down on that one. So that's one of those for me. It kind of does that Ravens team has played to the level of their competition a little bit. And that's not necessarily on Lamar. That's more on the organization and the coaching staff, making sure that the team is up, ready to go for those games, getting into it. But the Ravens have had a couple of letdown games where they play more to the level of their competition than some other teams out there. And I think that will ultimately hurt his chances on there.
Okay. I like it. I like it. I like what I pick up what you're putting down. I still say, you got to make a case for a guy that can. When your coach looks over, it says you want to go for it. Like that clip will live down in infamy.
Mm-hmm.
When Harbaugh looked at him and said, "You want to go for it," and Lamar did it, I was like, and went for it. I was like, it's the only thing that separates him that was separating him and Derrick Henry at that given moment was Henry passing for the touchdown pass, Henry throwing for a touchdown pass, and it was like, okay, well, not only can he take the game into his own hands, but he'll also throw the rock as well. Like if need be, with Tannehill, as bad as Tannehill was doing,
right?
Which I mean, again, that was one play, but
right. And there's a good chance for that. I just think when it comes down to it, at the end of the year, statistically, he's not going to have some of the same statistical numbers that some of these other guys will have up there, and that'll ultimately, have somebody else win it. I do like Coach Craig's comment down there, though.
Hold up, let me see this thing before we even get into that next clip. I think CPAT plays. Not sure. We're still awaiting that information. And I don't like this to be like, I think that he's gonna play, and like he doesn't. I like to be certain.
Make plans. Make plans for him to miss, and that way, if he
Yeah.
plays, you're good to go. But make plans for him to miss. That's the fantasy advice I got for you.
And Justin, I'll be live for my AMA tonight, bro. I got you. No, it's because the Ravens' defense isn't good this year, son. You done, son. I just went way too Dave Chappelle there. I'm gonna let you know, like right at the beginning of the show, I cracked this Coca-Cola, and like I have ADD, ADHD, so like if I start getting like really hyper, and like I start like my voice starts going like crazy, that's why like the caffeine's about to start making me just so if I start spazzing, y'all know why. This next topic, we're getting back over into interacting with our BetQL partners. Make sure you guys give our BetQL partners a follow over on the Twitter, the Instagram, the TikTok, the SportsMe app, and all that good stuff. This one is a little bit touchy for me. We're getting some NFC East talk. I ain't going to tease too much. I'm going to just roll the clip.
Joe Giglio of BetQL Daily talking about the NFC playoff race. And how about the bottom there, with all those mediocre teams, actually below average teams, maybe fighting for that number 7 seed? The Philadelphia Eagles, big win yesterday on the road against Denver Broncos. They're 3-6. Look at their schedule coming up. They won't face a quarterback of note all the way to Week 18. And who knows, maybe Dak Prescott sits that game out. The Eagles have a real chance to make a run behind their newly found running game. Eagles plus 240 on FanDuel Sportsbook to make the playoffs. I think it's worth a bet.
Definitely agree. I think the Eagles can make some noise. They can go on a nice little run. That Denver game is the game actually that I was thinking that they need to win to actually get some momentum.
Any given Sunday, you get an NFL team show up flat, another NFL team show up ready to go.
I'm not sold on the Eagles. Not sold on Jalen Hurts. Obviously, the Cowboys are going to take the division.
I think the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. I honestly do. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I think they're going to go 6-1 and 5-2, and that's going to be enough to get in and be right there with it. They don't even have to get on a plane until Week 18. And by that time, like you said, Dallas is going to be phoning it in.
If you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, that's crazy. But no, you know what? The Eagles are starting to run the ball at exactly the time that you need to do it.
No, I wouldn't take that one. The Eagles are 4-6 right now. I think it's realistic that they probably finish 4-3 out the back half.
As impressive as it was for the Philadelphia Eagles to beat Denver on the road, it was just as fluky for the Broncos to beat the Cowboys in Dallas.
Yeah, that was a classic letdown game for the Denver Broncos. I don't think it had anything to do with how good or bad the Eagles are.
The reason they will not make the playoffs, yes, will not make the playoffs, is because I do not trust Nick Sirianni. No, I would not make this bet.
Eagles will go as far as Jalen Hurts can take them.
I don't think the Eagles are clearly the best team. They're inconsistent, but when you look at their schedule.
So I think there's definitely a decent chance that this happens, especially when you look at their favorable remaining schedule.
I definitely love the Eagles' rest of the season schedule.
Possible, yes. Probable, no. Looking at the remaining schedule, I can see them getting about 4 or 5 wins, maybe. So that puts them at 8 or 9, 8-9, or 9-8.
Okay. If we are going to use this freaking 4-6 record to make a damn case for the Philadelphia Eagles, then we can make a case for the Washington football team. We can also start making cases for the New York Football Giants, okay? We can make cases for any team in this division, all right? I am not about to sit here on any of these teams, on any of these 3 teams, and place a bet on them making the playoffs or put out a hot take at them making the playoffs. I love clicks just as much as the next person. But I also love to not embarrass the fuck out of myself. And I feel like taking a 4-6 team right now, okay, if there's 5 wins, okay, maybe I see where, you start seeing a little bit of glimmer of hope. But only Eagles fans can do this. Only Eagles fans can take 4 wins with a shitty Nick Sirianni coach and think that they have a shot. You're delusional. You guys are senile, Philly. Knock it off. That's my take. That's my rant.
There you go. I was like, that's more of a rant than a take, but you corrected it, so we'll go with it. It's interesting to think too, because right now I believe Philadelphia, as far as like seeding would go for the playoffs on the NFC side of things, I believe they're sitting in the 10th seed right now. There's 3 teams ahead of them for that last spot in that, right? Because you got a couple of teams. The Vikings are 4-5, the Niners are 4-5, the Falcons are 4-5. So again, they're all got losing records. They're all sitting at about a half game ahead of Philadelphia because they've already had the bye and Philly hasn't. Philly has done some things, and this was something that I talked about on a show a while ago, was the fact that Philadelphia wasn't doing Jalen Hurts justice by continually, there was games where they would have 2 rushing attempts, 3 rushing attempts in the first half there as far as designed run plays, and you're not allowing him to mature and develop as a quarterback when you're making him have to, when the defense can just pin their ears back and come after you, and you're making him try and miss a guy and then get upfield and not being able to get through progressions there, which them having corrected that and actually running the ball and actually having a bit more of a balanced attack, we're seeing that pay off and seeing that help out there. But again, I don't see that this trend continuing where you see the Eagles winning and winning out there, because I think there's some more teams out there that are they're more talented on both sides of the ball that are ahead of them in the playoff race and will ultimately finish out ahead of that as well. So I see them missing the playoffs. Realistically, I see them probably going 4-3 over the last 7 games that they have remaining there. I know a lot of folks are saying that they'll beat the Saints this week. I don't think
that's a lock.
No, I don't. So right, like you look at what does New Orleans do incredibly well? They stop you from running the ball. Right? They stop you from running the ball, which then leads us back into the thought process there that this is going to be a game where you're going to have to rely on Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. The New Orleans Saints pass rush, not having to worry about the run, is going to pin their ears back, and now you're putting that Jalen into those same situations we saw early in the season where they struggled as a team to win games. So I don't see them winning this one. I think that although those NFC East teams play each other incredibly tough, they've got 2 matchups against the Giants left, 2 matchups against the football team left, and they've got a matchup with the Cowboys left. And a lot of folks are saying that the Cowboys will have it locked up and they'll be sitting their starters. I wouldn't necessarily, subscribe to that, because that Philly and Dallas rivalry is real, and you can't tell me that if Dallas can make sure Philly doesn't make the playoffs by winning that last game, that they're going to rest absolutely everybody through that game. They may only play a half, and that may be enough to win that game there. But I don't think that they've got as cakewalk of a schedule as a lot of folks are out there saying they do.
I think that anybody assuming at this given moment for any team in the NFL that the remaining schedule is a cakewalk after witnessing 2 weeks of straight underdogs. Just like this is what I love about betting is because you can refer to shit like this. And, bettors know this all too well because you deal with the pain of it. And then when you see the stat, when you see that Adam Schefter, that Ian Rappaport tweet, just like, 8 underdogs, 5 underdogs. Like when you start seeing that, it's like teams are playing to the final whistle this year.
Right.
Even the Lions aren't even incomplete. They should be tanking. They should be pretty much playing like they don't have a fuck to give, but they're still being in contention in games. So I don't think there's any clear-cut way of saying for any team that the rest of their schedule is a cakewalk. Unless you're playing the Jets for the next 7 games.
Houston or Jaguars, lump them in there as well.
Exactly, yeah. And even still, they can upset you.
Right. Look at what the Jets did to the Tennessee Titans.
Exactly.
Look at what the Miami Dolphins did to the
Ravens.
The Ravens, right? It's
and
I think
the Washington to Tampa. What else? The Jags and Bills.
Right. And Coach Craig's got a couple of comments in there too that are definitely hitting home there as well, right? So he's saying that Hurts made the Saints look silly last year. He sure did, but again, that's one of those that the Saints didn't have any game film on Jalen Hurts, and it was very much one of those that he came in and he utilized his legs as much as he did throwing the ball in that one there as well. And parity is good for the NFL, absolutely. Going back to talking about the this record here and how this looks, the Philadelphia Eagles have not won a home game this year. They're 0-4 at home. They play the Saints at home this week. Do they change that trend? I don't see that one happening. Then they go on the road. They're 4-2 on the road so far. They play the Giants and the Jets away. You probably can get a win off of one of those. You got Washington football team at home, the Giants at home. Then you go to Washington away, Dallas at home. So again, I think at best you see this team go 4-3, and I don't think that you're going to see a team with a losing record make it into the 7th seed in that NFC.
Yeah,
I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. We are going to roll greatest sports achievement. What is the greatest thing that a athlete can achieve in sports? Let's go ahead and get into this one right here.
Today's topic for the Daily Cash Game, we're talking the greatest individual record in sports history. Who is it? What is it?
Cal Ripken's Ironman record. That will never be broken. Ever. And I don't care what people say.
Pete Rose, number of hits, 4,256 hits. Only him and Tykov had more than 4,000 hits.
It's got to be one of Wayne Gretzky's records. I mean, his points record. He would still have the points record if he didn't score a single goal in his career.
Okay, as a basketball fan, I have to go with Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points in a game. The closest we've seen anyone come to it since was Kobe Bryant with 81 points.
It's Michael Phelps, because other athletes don't have the ability to actually participate in the amount of events that he has.
I'm interpreting the question as the single greatest athletic achievement in the history of mankind, and I would absolutely put Alex Honnold's free solo of El Capitan up there.
I'm going to go with Ricky Henderson, his career steals, because there's no way in hell that's going to get broken again with the way the game's played today. No one steals that much. Ricky Henderson almost ran a marathon just by his steals over his career.
The Chicago Bears in 1940 set a record for the biggest win in sports history, or in football history, I should say. They beat the Washington 73-0.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. What would you say? Here.
So I would go with Wilt's 100 points in a game, right? I don't see that one getting broken. And we've seen a couple of guys kind of go at that and really have just unbelievable career nights that are some of the greatest to ever lace them up, and they still come up short on that record there, right? That's one of those that I don't see that one necessarily getting broken. You've also got a lot of those a lot of records of Wilt's that'll hold true. Some of his, rebounding average and just the guy was phenomenal. But I don't think that one will get broken. Since that one was already taken, though, I'll actually jump over to baseball, and I don't know that you'll see Joe DiMaggio's single or consecutive game hit streak be broken there. 56 game hit streak there. There's one of those that, every few years we see somebody start getting up to the point where we see like 20 games in a row with a hit streak on that. And then it never really seems to progress, and nobody ever really seems to come close to that one. Some of these other ones where you see Iron Man type of records, things like that, like, that's one of those records that somebody thinks that it'll never get broken until it then gets broken, right? Like nobody thought that Lou Gehrig's Iron Man record was going to get broken, and then came along Cal Ripken. And there was several things in there too, when you look at like Ripken's deal where he had games where he'd go in for like, start the game, play like 2 innings and get subbed out, or some things like that kept that streak alive for him. But I would say the two toughest to beat would be the 100 points in game or the consecutive game hit streak from Joe DiMaggio.
Okay. For me, obviously nobody was ever alive during this time frame. But that's what makes records so great. I'm gonna go with a completely different sport. Really quick, I think we have a lot depends on if Kamara plays this week too. Okay. That's
Yes, it
from our
does.
previous topic. None of us obviously were around during like the 1960s. And I'm gonna go to a completely different sport, and I gotta go with boxing. Okay. But not just any weight class in boxing. What it takes to be a heavyweight champ, and we gotta talk about Primo Carnera, Italian boxer, passed away in 1967, 69 freaking knockouts. George Foreman is second behind him at 68. Okay, and I know what people are saying, like okay, well, like that's the 60s, like fighters weren't the same. Just when you look at this list of Carnera, Foreman, Charles, Max Baer, who Carnera had to fight at one point and had to and that was an absolute just fucking crazy matchup. Klitschko, Joe Louis, Jack Dempsey, Greg Page, Tony Tucker, Shannon Briggs, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes. Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes tied. Like that's a good top 12. Like that's a really good top 12. And when you're talking about the power it takes to knock someone out and to then become heavyweight champion of the world, to me is the greatest feat in all sports, personally. And of course, Cal Ripken's Iron Man record is amazing. Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points is amazing. Tom Brady's record that he recently set with the passing touchdowns, amazing. But 69 knockouts to be heavyweight champion of the world.
Nobody fights 69 fights in a boxing career these days.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody fights 69 fights, So, I mean,
like it's rare to see a fighter get it to 50 fights in
that
career a lot of times.
That's what as much as people want to hate on Floyd, that's what makes Floyd's record so great. It's like he's 49-0. And I mean, if you want to count that McGregor thing, he's 50-0, even though that was an exhibition. Like, and still could go out and toy around with anyone that he wants and still be great and still win by points. Like, so 69 fights, 69 knockout or 69 knockouts, not fights, 69 knockouts. You gotta love it, and you gotta appreciate that. You gotta appreciate that. And I think it was something like, here, I want to try and find the stat. I think he had like it was like 144 fucking fights, or something crazy like that he had actually like fought in. And like 129 of them, like he had won. He won 72 fights by KO to be exact, actually. So I mean, damn. Let's see here. We have one more topic. Well, let's see here. Leaf says, to achieve Wayne Gretzky's point record, you have to put 200 points per season The closest is Connor McDavid, and he can only put up 140. The best player in the NHL, by the way, can't even touch it. Damn.
Yeah, there's a reason that he was called the Great One.
This final topic here comes from our BetQL partners. Let's go ahead and just dive right into it. Let's check out how we're all reacting following this NFL weekend and the Carolina Panthers.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here from You Better You Bet on the brilliant BetQL Network. Now I'm looking at Bet Rivers, You Better You Bet show sponsor, and I see that Carolina with Cam Newton back at quarterback, 3.5-point favorites against the Washington football team, and I'm thinking, are you kidding me here? Carolina 3 or 3.5. This spread should be 1. People so excited about Cam Newton. Did we forget the guy was absolutely brutal last year for the New England Patriots? This is facts, not an evidence. Let us know if you agree or disagree. And even if you disagree, I'm wishing you minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck.
That's a lot of energy.
I like it.
That was a lot of energy. I was like, damn, did he steal my caffeine? What are your thoughts on this weekend's Carolina Washington game?
I can't get over the line that he used there. Facts, not an evidence. Like that's just a great line. I'm going to have to use that one going forward there because
right,
it's a good one. It's a good one. I like it. I liked it a lot. This one here, right? Like there was a lot of folks that didn't think that Carolina was going to do anything last week. I was one of those.
Oh, I was not.
I really didn't think that they would do much this last week. And so I'm not going to be betting against them on this one, right? Like the Washington football team just lost Chase Young on this one. He's not going to be playing. The defense, which we had started to see the defense turn around here for Washington, and they lose kind of the face of that defense there. So I think that's going to be a lot to blow there. I think they've also, or that's going to be a big blow there. I think they've also got a little bit of a letdown game coming after coming out there and just mollywhopping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so one of those that I think they'll have a little bit of a letdown here coming. The Panthers, they have been pretty consistent on defense throughout. That defense tends to travel, tends to play well. And so I could very much see them winning this game. I just don't know if it's going to be by that 3. So I think it's going to be a tight race, but I do think that Carolina wins this one. And it'll be interesting to see too what Cam's role is in this one now that he's had a week to fully kind of immerse himself into the offense. This is a different, while it's the same team, it's a different coaching staff, different playbook, different offense than what he was there the last time around. He did have a little bit of some crossover there kind of going through that. But Teddy Bridgewater was brought in very early onto that, and Cam was released very early into that season there. So while he's got some feel for those coaches and the personalities there, I don't know how much of that he's still got to redigest that playbook and the schemes and everything else there. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that looks and goes. And it could be some of the resurgence that we're looking for out of guys like Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore.
Okay. I'm liking Washington plus 160 on the money line. That over under at 43. I don't know if I'm gonna touch that.
That's an under for me.
Like I don't. So my gut feeling is telling me under, but then my brain is telling me don't be shocked if it goes over. So I may stay away from that side of this bet in regards to the over under. Now the spread at the 3.5, I'm liking this. I'm liking this more so as a 1-point game. I'm loving this more so as a 1-point game. You would have to be out of your mind even with the loss of Chase Young to not think that Ron Rivera is game planning for Cam Newton. He's absolutely game planning for Scammering. So I think the defense is still going to show up for Washington. This could even be one of those cases where it's like, okay, well, like even though you lose your best player, maybe the defense is good enough to do just well enough to stay afloat. I know that Carolina's defense is ruthless, absolutely freaking ruthless. Shaq Thompson is nothing to play around with. But if Washington's offense can come out and have some confidence and play with some confidence, whoever has the ball last will end up winning this game. And I think that is going to be Washington. it's going to be, as much as we're excited to see like this Rivera versus Cam narrative play out. Watch between the tackles in this game. Watch how Gibson is utilized. Watch how CMC is utilized. I know CMC, he still looked like he was running a little bit banged up last week. You could tell there's still some pain there. Of course, because Carolina just runs him into the ground like a freaking battering ram, because they don't care about their future running back's health whatsoever. Longevity's not in Carolina's plan. So I mean, maybe the snaps that CMC's not on field, that's where Washington chooses like really turn up and take advantage. Maybe create some turnovers on defense, put the ball back into Heineke's hands, let Heineke go out there, make plays with his guys. DeAndre Carter is stepping up heavy for this Washington receiving core. If you're going to end up trying to lock down on McLaurin, Carter's going to get open. So yeah, I mean, and Ricky Seals-Jones ain't a bad tight end either. At least we actually use our tight end. I know they're trying to use Tommy Tremble a little bit down there in Carolina. But yeah.
I was saying this may be the week that we see the Logan Thomas come back there too. There's been reports of that he may potentially come back in this one. So keep an eye out on that one. That's and while Ricky Seals-Jones has been good and been serviceable there, Logan Thomas is a certain upgrade on there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm rocking with Washington. I'm in agreement that this should be more so of a one point game. Yeah. Football team, baby. I was gonna find a way to come to make sure I still pick my guys. Like, come on now.
Right now, the real question is how much of that was your hometown football team biased in there?
A little bit.
Okay, just making sure we give the people the honest, the transparency there.
Like that much, yeah, right there. But no, so I'm excited for that game. Little known fact, the homie Rappaport just tweeted out. If you were to take, I think like if the Bills, Panthers, and Washington all did a joint practice, it would be it would be the biggest football reunion of everyone knows everyone. And that's one of the things to look out for in this Carolina game. I mean, Curtis Samuel, will be able to, hobble over and see DJ Moore, and they'll be able to hug it out again. Like, this game is like one big reunion. I'm curious to see how it's played out, if it gets a little chippy, or if, when it's all said and done, both Cam and Rivera, go see each other. Samuel, DJ Moore, they go and see each other. Gibson, CMC, as running backs go and talk to each other. I think that's going to be the despite the points, I think that's going to be the headline of this game, is one big happy football family. This is going to be the feel-good story of the week, hopefully, unless Cam just walks over to the sidelines like, fuck you, Ron, which could happen. Outside of that, Derek, anything else?
No, download the SportsMe app.
Oh, yeah, there's always that.
Come debate us. Come talk to us. Join the conversation. What are you waiting for? It's a lot of fun. Links in the description. Get it done.
Yeah. Outside of that, subscribe to our YouTube channel for quick hits and updates on what's happening within the SportsMe verse. Also, don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. Link is in the description. Download the app. We'll see you over there on the SportsMe app. Interact with both Derek, myself, and much more, and as well as our BetQL partner. Shout out to BetQL. We greatly appreciate you. SportsMe, join the conversation. SportsMe, sports you. Let's go.
Get any better for the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason? They locked down their future in Patty Mahomes.
You got Jones, then Kelsey, and Mahomes signed for like half a billion. You got players on your football team buying baseball team.
I'm surrounded by baby toys. Like Patrick Mahomes is surrounded by guys who on offense are some of the best in the league.
Oh no, let the defense go. Let the defense go.
If Patty does what he does, and he has one